It's no secret that Hollow Knight is a fantastic game, but is it still worth playing in 2023? Well, to answer that question, we're gonna have to look at why Hollow Knight was so successful in the first place. To start off, the bosses are amazing. Sure, there's definitely some that are questionable and some that are just straight up bad, but for the most part, Hollow Knight's bosses are one of the best parts about the entire game. For example, Broken Vessel, Mantis Lords, and the Radiants are some of my favorite bosses I've ever fought in a video game. The bosses also contribute a lot to the progression of the game, which is incredibly smooth. I was almost never bored in my first playthrough in Hollow Knight, and that made the game really special for me. I'd also like to point out that the art style is incredible. Hollow Knight probably has one of my favorite art styles I've ever seen from a video game, and overall it's really nice to look at. The music is also fantastic, and I know a lot of people don't like this word because of cringe, but a lot of the game's soundtrack feels really epic. One example I could use is the Mantis Lords theme. Pretty good, right? So yeah, Hollow Knight is great, but what doesn't it do right? Well, for starters, the currency system could have been better. Like, you'll just have a bunch of geos saved up that you're probably never gonna spend. Also, remember how I used Broken Vessel as an example of a good boss? Well, yeah, he is a good boss, but after you defeat him, the Forgotten Crossroads turns into the Infected Crossroads, and the Infected Crossroads are supposed to be a little harder since it powers up the enemies, but it also blocks off certain areas, making traveling way more inconvenient. This really is just tedious and unneeded, and this part of the game got me pretty frustrated. Also, God Tamer, I hate this boss. This may just be me, but I basically dislike almost every boss besides Mantis Lords that has more than one enemy attacking you, since they were just kind of frustrating to fight. But in conclusion, Hollow Knight is definitely at least in the top 50 games of all time, and almost everything about it is brilliant. And although the game isn't perfect, it's definitely worth playing in 2023. Also, if you're a big Hollow Knight fan and I've done almost everything in the game, here's some games you can play while you wait for Silksong. Anyway, subscribe if you enjoyed the video.